Hello, this is Sirrano Keith Baldeo. I am here to address the reorganization meeting in Paterson, New Jersey. So, I had a chance to review the meeting. Oh boy, I gotta tell you, I am shocked and I am amazed that Paterson still thinks that these people running the council meeting are somehow qualified to do so. I listen when I hear politicians speak, it's like, how am I going to explain this? When politicians speak, it's lies. It's just flat out lies. And they know how to lie. So what they do is you look at the reality of life. You look at the reality of Paterson. You're not stupid, okay? None of you are stupid. You look at the reality of what is happening in Paterson, the murders, the shootings, the dilapidation, the taxes, the killer cops, the beating up of people, the all this nonsense is happening, and you're not blind, neither are you deaf, neither are you dumb. So you know what's going on. And some people went up there and they liked, let me just talk about the cause of president because that's pissing me off most. So my experience in Paterson is when they're looking to choose a council president. I sat there for 10 years, 10 years. I had more milk on my face. I lost some milk on my face sitting there. I got older watching this nonsense. So I got a lot under my belt for this. So the council president is chosen by deals. And the deal is the mayor is the one who goes after you with the deals. And then there's the political party, mostly the Democratic Party, John Kerry, the rest of the guys. They start calling on behalf of the party, Benjamin Bully, TJ Bass, whoever. I'm not saying no, they are the ones, but people like that, caliber people, call you up as the council person and say, look, we need to get Maritza Davila in the position because we need to get all these contracts passed from the outsiders who are stealing and robbing Paterson from its own residents. Yeah, that's how it works. So Abdelatif, I endorsed this guy a long time ago against Saya. And I'm shocked that he's a puppet for Saya. He was a puppet for Torres. Remember that? And Saya slammed him. Now Saya is using him. See, this is how they have no integrity. They have no honor. They have no ethics. They have no morals. And they have no decency. Because when I have a conflict with somebody that I deem as a problem person, and you are just evil, and you're out to do wickedness, I would not use you to get into power. But that's what they did with Al Abdelaziz. He was conspiring with Torres to get rid of Saya. But then when Torres got arrested, he jumped into bed with Saya for the sake of getting his position reelected. He would have gotten reelected anyway because it's an Arab community and you just go to the Christians and you pump up your votes on that. But he sucked up to Saya to think it's going to give him the additional votes. It all became an Islamic thing to them too, so that's another issue there. So he was lost from the beginning from the public. You're not going to get him. So he's gone with Saya, and then let's go down the line. So there's him. There's Khalik. Khalik is Islamic, Saya Islamic. So they have that brotherhood going. So they're going to support each other to get what they want, just like they got the noise ordinance for the mosque. So they're going to do that. So he's got him. And then let's go down to who was Ruby Cotton is sold out to Saya. So that's 1, 2, 3. You need 5, right? And then you have Maritza Davila. A long time ago, I met Maritza Davila when she was in the school system. And I think she wanted to do an ad or something. She was running for school board or something. And she wanted some advice from me about running for city council. And I gave it to her. I kind of got her started. And my first advice to her was to do an event for John Kerry, invite him, once you invite John Kerry and you honor him, all those other people connected to John Kerry will swarm in, and all of a sudden, you're the person now that's honoring John Kerry. We got to turn around. We got to help you. That's how corruption politicians work. I didn't mean to tell her to be corrupted in it. I just kind of told her that's how it works. So she went with that, and then she got sold to the party. Whatever they tell her to do, she will do it. And then you have Mike Jackson. So, I promoted that Mike Jackson should be the council president, but I did that as a joke. I didn't think he really could be a good council president, but in that joke was reality. And the reality is this. If Mike Jackson became the council president, right, Saya came past all the outside contracts to screw Paterson. That was my thing there. But Mike Jackson had to go out and lobby as hard as Saya, and the party did. He did it. So when I listened to him, I heard that he said he had 4 votes. He couldn't get, including himself, he couldn't get the 5th vote. So who was the 4th vote? Was it you? I'm guessing it was him, Mendez, Velez, maybe. And who else? Maybe Mims. I'm not sure. So that'd be 4. Because I know the others that I called will not go with him. They'll stick to Saya for their own personal gain. Because they think they need him to get reelected. So that's the 4 that I'm thinking. Anyway, so there's him. Then there's Mims. Now, Mims is a sellout. Don't trust this woman. When she was running against McCoy, I met her outside. I supported her. I went to her event, how she thought McCoy was horrible. He was useless. She slammed him. Then she jumped into bed with him. Where is the moral, ethics, standard, all those other things that I called? Where is all of that stuff that you're supposed to have as a Christian? Where is your faith? Where is your faithfulness to Christ and honesty and trust, and just, good stuff? This woman just sold out. And she's always talking about Christ. And I'm going to come back to the vote. So anyway, let's switch over to Velez, I think, right? We got Velez. Are we missing anybody? Velez. So Velez slammed Saya at the end of his speech saying, because you're scared about getting reelected, I don't want you don't be punishing people, something like that. And I was shocked because Velez is the one who went and lobbied hard the Latino community for Saya. And every time you turn around, Velez is like up his behind everywhere he is. So what's the language here? Why are you saying, because you're running scared, don't do bad things to people? So, which leaves me back to believe, and which always, whatever you hear them say on the city council about each other is total BS. It means nothing. When you see council members fighting, don't believe it. Do not believe their fight. But what you must believe is the vote. So let's just say a contract comes up for this guy, Charles Florio. Is it Charles Florio, right? And they're going to argue, this guy is doing this to the community, he's doing that, and you know what their vote is going to be? Yes. Okay? So now let's get to the vote for council president. So Maritza Davila was chosen long before there's any arguments. I'm going to tell you why and how I noticed. So we went Al, right? He's Saya's boy, so he's going to give it to them. Then we went Khalik, because he's been with Maritza. She's been in the Muslim community. She's courted the Muslim community. She sacrificed her own Christian faith to promote their gods and Islam and everything else. And not that I have a problem with that. It's just that you shouldn't be using any religion, including Christianity, to promote, government. But they're specifically doing that. She's doing that for them, which is unlawful. And then there is Ruby Cotton has sold it to Saya, so she's going to vote yes. And then Mike Jackson. When it got to Mike Jackson, he says, I want to be unified with everybody and support Maritza, and I disagree with this, but I'm going to vote for her. No. It doesn't work that way in an honest world. It doesn't work that way in a righteous world. It doesn't work that way with somebody looking for the truth and fighting against wickedness and evil in high places. And do you know where I got that from? The Bible. Jesus, your Jesus, to most Christians who are listening, and I know there are others religious too, he never surrendered. He never said, okay, you scribes and you Pharisees, I got to work with you guys. You Sanhedrins and you chief priests, for the sake of unity of Israel, I'm going to work with all of you. I'm going to give in. I think it's best for the community. No. He knew they were liars. He knew that they were deceivers. He knew that they were getting everything and the people were suffering. So he stood his ground and he says, no, I would rather die than help vote for you or support you or make you chief priests and endorse your chiefhood and endorsed your scribes and your Phariseehood. He didn't do that. But Mike Jackson endorsed Maritza Davila that is controlled by whom? Andrew Saya. So basically, Jackson, what you did was endorse Saya. What you did was support Saya. Because if I'm a councilman and this nonsense comes up to me, I said, I don't care about Marissa Davila, how nice she is and how unified she wants to be. She still dances to the beat of the drums of Andrew Saya. She still moves to the strings when he pulls it of Andrew Saya. So I am not going to vote for her because if I vote for her, I'm voting for Andrew Saya. And I am not going to vote and endorse his corruption, his incompetence. 6 top people quit his organization in a defiance, in a defeat, in a message to the community that this guy can't even hire the right people. So you want me to endorse him and you're going to be running puppet to him. I don't think so. Mike Jackson sold out. He sold you out. He's talking about, I'm for the community. I'm against this guy. I'm against what he's... No, you're not. Either that or you're not intelligent enough. You're just plain stupid. Did not see what you just did. And what you just did is endorse the mayor's corruption to Maritza Davila because remember what the mayor said before he walked out of the chamber and he walked and abandoned everybody. He says, Ms. Maritza, I hope to see you in my office every week. No. When you are the council president, the mayor comes to your office and the mayor presents his contracts and the mayor presents everything. So who's the master here and who's the puppet? He said it. You come to my office. That's not how this works, okay? So that's how incompetent and just plain stupid they are. And so Mike Jackson endorsed Andrew Saya, basically. And so we move on, and then you have Mendez. So Mendez wants to run for mayor, right? You voted for Maritza. But the troubling thing here is that they couldn't open up their eyes. They couldn't unveil the foolishness that Saya has put a veil over their eyes by choosing Maritza. Because by choosing Maritza, he's going to use her to be the unifier of the votes for him. And he just needs 5 to sell Paterson out to the outsiders. So she's going to come along and say, yeah, we need to be unified and we need to all vote for this. You should hear her speech. It was like, I was like, oh my gosh, who are you fooling with that? And I think a lot of people though. So Mendez should have been the vote to say, no, my vote is an indictment on the foolishness that is taking place right here tonight. And the foolishness is the con game, the manipulative, deceitful game that the mayor is playing with Maritza to get us on board to push his nonsense through the city and his failure. And that's what happened to all of them. They got stupid because he's smart. Saya's not stupid. He didn't get where he is today by being stupid. He's cunning. He's deceitful. He's ruthless. He's a liar. He's a con man. He's learned for years how to appropriately speak and find. He spent thousands of dollars to ask these companies, and look, how do I manipulate a community? What's the social engineering here I can use? What is the psyche of the community? What can I do? Can I throw an event and invite them over and say this is a unified event? Can I do this? Can I do that? And they give them advice on that stuff. So don't think Saya is just coming up with this stuff and how to manipulate you. He pays people to tell him how to do that. And I pulled this years ago. I think it was $12,000 he paid to a Pennsylvania company to come into Paterson, analyze you, and say, look, here's what you're going to do. You're going to give this event, call it a unified event. And then you're going to give out free food. And then you're going to come and hug and kiss people. And then you're going to call some big people in to, promote them. And that's what you do. It's a con game. It's called social engineering. And what it is to hack your mind and hack your emotion and hack your good sense. And so once the psychology is when somebody does something good for you, you automatically feel that you have to repay them back. And sometimes you repay them back with votes. And that's what these politicians like Andrew Sayer knows. You're going to repay him back by going to the polls for him. But in the meantime, he's going to spend the millionaire's money, Charles Florio, to do events for you, activities, bring you out, hug you, kiss you. And then when you go to the vote polls, you're going to say, well, he was here, he hugs, he kisses us. It's all a game. It's all a game to manipulate you. So anyway, back to the vote. Mendez, BS. I really disrespected him for that. And, when I got to Lewis, I knew, well, that's a Sayer vote anyway. That's a give. So Sayer was going to get his vote no matter what. But what confused me, what troubled me is the manipulative language of you're just running scared and don't do bad things to people. Even though he says stuff like that, and Sayer comes to him with an outside contract or all those losing crime games and nobody's be able to fix it, he's still going to support Sayer. He's still going to help his re-election campaign. He's still going to stand with him shoulder to shoulder to see that he gets re-elected. But you, the public, saw him make that language. Oh, Velez is on our side. No, Velez is going where the wind is going. If you look at the entire people that spoke, when they spoke about the crime. They spoke about the manipulation in government. They spoke against Sayer. So Velez is going to use language to kind of flow with the people. So he's going to have to run his own campaign. So that language helps him. But in the back hand, in the back room, and the back deals, he's still going to give that to Sayer, right? So be careful when they talk about Sayer in a bad way. Be careful when they talk about each other in a bad way. The vote for the council president indicates they're either all stupid, ignorant, unintelligent, or they all got fooled by Sayer, including Jackson and including Mendez. Mendez and Jackson could have been the indicting vote and said, no, I indict you. I indict you for all the garbage that's going on in Paterson right now when you ran for mayor and you gave us all this speech about your vision and when they're stealing from the Bible, when there is no vision, the people perish. Use something from Islam. Don't use our Christian faith. And I really have nothing against Islam. Actually, I had some photos. Hold for a second. Let me see if I can hold this for a second. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys a photo. Someone wrote that you can't be mayor of Paterson because you're too Christian or something like that, and you don't like the Muslim community. And I want to show you one of the first events that I had. And of all the people, I invited a lot of people. I invited Ken Morris, Ada from the African American Committee, and a lot of people, the freeholders, TJ Best, and I honored them. But the person that was sitting in my table next to me was the Imam Katanani and his wife. That's his wife. I blocked off her face because I shouldn't be showing it. The Imam Katanani's wife never goes anywhere in any public place. But they came to my event and they sat at my table. So when you say I don't like Muslims and Islam, no, that's not the point. The point is Christians can't use religion to endorse people and put them in government positions. Neither should the Jews or Islam or anybody else. That's happening in Paterson right now. So if any religion was doing it, I have to report that. I have to object to it. And so this guy's at my table. And there was a lot of people there, but him and his wife was with me and my wife. So I know how to unify when it's time to unify, but I also know how to object when it's time to object. And the reason, Andrew Sayer has done a lot of criminal activities that I have reported and went to the prosecutor. And this is the reason he will never get prosecuted. See that? That's the Passaic County prosecutor. That's the Attorney General's office. And that's called this girl there, right there. So when we report crimes to them, they're friends with the guy. they're not gonna arrest him. That's part of the political party there. They're gonna put him above the law. There they are again, visiting him in City Hall. How are you gonna take a criminal charge to them about Andrew Saya when they're close friends with him, when they're close to his office? And I had her go into a grand jury with Saya, and guess what? In the grand jury, he was allowed to take an attorney there with him and present evidence and use my video that I was supposed to use as evidence, which she never asked me for. But somehow it's in the grand jury and they're playing it, cut up with its own content. I never got a chance to review it. It's supposed to be the other way around. I'm the victim. You take my video. We put up my video. We make a case against him. But what she did, right there, what she did was she gave the video to him. He brought his video. And I was like the guy from the outside, when I should have been the one who she protecting to convict him. It was more like convict me for going after her people, her boy. So that's how it works in Passaic County. And the corrupted judges and the things that I've been publishing. I'm not playing with these people. They're playing with my life. Just remember, I'm the media. I own your right. You may own my safety and everything else. You may go above the law to use politics to punish me, but I own your reputation. I can publish all of this stuff, and I am going to. So anyway, that's the politics in Paterson. They get away with whatever they want to get away with. I had 7 of them go into a grand jury. This prosecutor was supposed to send it outside. She kept it there so one of the judges under their control can block it from a grand jury. And that's why you see all of them up there that day, July 1st. All of them is the same thing. How long have they been up there? How long have they been saying we're going to solve the crime problem and the murder problem? And they give these speeches. We've got a lot of crime in the city, and we got to end the crime, and it's happening too much. And then Maritza, oh yeah, and Maritza goes, I'm not going to blame the mayor, and his administration. I promised I wasn't going to do that. Okay. So that's her testimony right there. I'm protecting the mayor. I'm not going to hold him accountable. That's what I'm going to do. So that's all the corruption that you have going on up there. And Tatiana, one of that girl, just amazing. She goes after Saya. Not that I did, but I see a lot of me in her. So I watch for her, Tatiana Portugal. And but anyway, that's my take on the whole meeting there. It's all BS. Don't listen to it. They're all in bed with each other. The language against Saya is BS, okay? They say it, but then look at their actions. Look at your city and ask yourself, all the stuff they say that they want to help the city and they're fighting and they're fighting and they're fighting. Walk outside. Ain't nobody fighting. These are common folks that wants to get elected so they can have a position in life. They're not qualified to be there. They all have their own evil. I said it when they went after me, and they still got their own evil, and they're trying to fool you. They're trying to manipulate you, but you're smart. I commend all the speakers that was there that day, but I still watch some of these speakers because the guy from Black Lives Matter was with Saya, pushing that woman against Mike Jackson. He was supposed to be in jail. Saya controlled the judges. Maybe Saya made a deal with the judges, let him off, and I can use him to go after Jackson. So a lot of stuff, that's my opinion, but a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes. So you got to watch that stuff. Don't believe a word they say. Look at your city, and that is what the Bible tells you. Not by their words, but by their actions. And your city is going to hell because you're voting for them still. This is Sirrano. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.